ahead and get started. Gabriel.
All right, we're good.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. And I think before we begin, I would suggest a moment of silence for all the 450,000 people who have passed away in the last year from COVID-19, and also their extended families that they've left people behind that are now grieving and wondering whether they can go on. Thank you. All right. Russell Reed just texted me and said that he's not going to be able to make it to the meeting. He did submit his treasurer's report, which we'll get to. Our agenda looks pretty crammed, but and smaller, but I think we'll be able to go through it in about the normal time period. We'll start off with approval of the January the 5th, 2021 Zoom meeting minutes that Angela provided for us. Thank you very much, Angela. You've had a chance to look them over. Does anybody have, or would someone like to put forth a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move that we approve meeting minutes for the January meeting.
And I'll second.
Thank you, Bob. Oh, thank you, Gabriel. So it's been moved by Bob and seconded by Gabriel that we approve the minutes from the January 5th Zoom board meeting last month. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Any abstentions? All right. Moving on to the treasurer's report. Looks like we had a lot of activity in January in our checking account. As you can see, we had our DNS appeal was $3,360. Our mailbox renewal was $228. We had donations of $1,400. Yay. We had membership renewals and maybe new memberships totaling $55. We started off with $7,343.78 in our checking account, and all said and done with all the additions and subtractions, we are now at a balance of $5,210.78. That is a loss of $2,133 from our last statement. Any discussion about the treasurer's report, which was put out this afternoon by Russell, our treasurer?
Move to approve.
A quick question. Bob, it looks like some of your neighbors came through with some donations in January.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I talked with you, you mentioned that the appeal fee might be almost totally covered by your neighbors. Do we expect any more donations coming in from your neighborhood?
I'll have to check and see who the donations were from, and then as I keep contacting people and reminding about the meeting coming up, I'll have to also make a reminder about how we could use some donations. I was anticipating with myself and everybody else somewhere around $2,200 to $2,500.
All right. That's better than nothing. Yeah, that I really appreciate the donations that were mentioned from, let's see, 4 different neighbors of yours. Have any of them indicated that they are going to be supporting, sending in supporting memberships?
Oh, joining the organization? I haven't actually asked about that, but I imagine they probably would.
Okay, all right, well, I hope they do. All right, so who, again, remind me who moved to have the treasurer's report approved?
I moved.
Okay, Dan moved. I need a second.
I'll second.
Gabriel seconds it. So Dan moved, Gabriel seconded. That we approve the treasurer's report for January. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like,
Those opposed? Hearing none. We'll consider the motion has passed. Thank you very much. Moving on to webmaster report. Gabriel.
Hi, yes, just the minor adjustments to the look and layout of the membership and board page where we have all the agendas and Zoom meetings that can get to be too cumbersome of a long list to scroll through. So other than that, I haven't done anything with that particular. Our next things would be looking at doing online payment options some way for people wanting to be contributing members. So that's the next step we have to take a look at and see how
Cool.
it's viable.
Yeah, I think that would be a really nice feature to add if we had it, and be a way easier for people like Chris who don't have a checkbook but yet wanted to pay his dues. So.
Yeah, and so we will definitely have to figure out I'll be sending that by email, which options we have, but it would have to be tied to some sort of email address. And I do have one set up for most of the functions on the website now.
Mm-hmm.
It is a Gmail account, which is, just a basic account, but at least it lets you tie somebody up. So we have to link a bank account to it and maybe have one or two options, maybe a PayPal. I don't know, Venmo is a good option, and a few other ones out there, Cash App. There's a bunch of different ways you can set them up. It's just how many different ways we want to set it up to where people can digitally or virtually online send the payment in.
Gabe, you also had talked about maybe standardizing our letterhead and other stuff that we.
Yeah. When I was at your place, last month. So we have a lot of different documents that we could. This is not to do with the website. It's just about the general overall feel of things. But I was thinking it might be nice to have all of our documents that we use to have a cohesive feel across all of them. So our treasurer's report, any sort of agendas and stuff, we would have a standardized header template that we can then everybody would use whenever we generate one of these. It all has the same look and feel. So we just look more like an official organization. So it doesn't look like just a bunch of people came up with something on their own, just to unify it. So if everybody has any of these documents they want to send me that they already have been using, please have them send them to me, email them to me, and then I can come up with templates for each one and send them back so we have a cohesive messaging. And it's kind of it's almost like a marketing thing. You just want everything to kind of have the same look and feel, official feel.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that, Dan?
Yeah, I was sleeping for a moment, but I got it.
All right. Okay. I would like to point out that Gabriel has sent me, there is some correspondence. We do have a contact portal, and Gabe sends me, because I'm the current president, for another 10 minutes. He sends me the contact information. I just would like to kind of reiterate to you, the rest of the board members, who has contacted us and what I have done in trying to contact people back. On January the 11th, Jen Strickling made contact. I've been trying to get, she left a phone number and I've called it, and I've left a couple of messages, but I haven't talked with her yet about exactly, she wanted to know how she could become one. So I left a voice message on how she could become a member. I figured, I was kind of scratching my head on that one. I was thinking, all the information on how to become a member is right on our website. So why would she want to find out how she could become a member? But anyway, I also got one from a Sherry Harris, and I talked with her and sent copies of applications. She's very interested in Orange Gate Park, and so I'll keep her in mind. She expressed an interest to being on the board of directors, and I sent her all the appropriate applications. She is the daughter of one of our rather consistent Water Community Association supporting members, Dorothy Harris. In fact, Dorothy has now memory issues, and Sherry has moved in with her mother to take care of her, but she says she has plenty of time. So she didn't send me a copy of her application, so I'll have to get back with her sometime this month. I don't think Bob should have to deal with leftover stuff. I got another contact from Joanne Sauter. I sent, she was thinking, she wanted to become a board member. And so I sent supporting board applications. There was no phone number to contact her, so I can only communicate with her via email. Have not heard back from her either. Got a contact from a Cameron Severns. Wanted to know, said, hello, I'd be interested in being of service to the community. Yes, you can contact me, and would like to know how to become a member. And so I called the number a couple of times, left messages with him. Just today, got a contact from Jerry and Glenn Blankenship. They're the ones that live in the old,
Stortini.
what is it, Stortini's house? And they're concerned about the Puyallup Tribe Indians land buy just down below from their house. Dan Hare's familiar with that. And I haven't had a chance to get in touch with them because I didn't receive this until just about an hour or so ago, maybe 2 hours ago. So I'll get in touch with them tomorrow, see what their problem is. It says, Larry, we are going to try to work this out right now. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Glenn is going to go over and meet them and see if we can just be friends for now. It's just so upsetting. We are quite busy. Email would be better than a call. Thanks for all of you. Thanks for all that you do.
Just real quick,
So,
the previous email you might have missed that I forwarded you. There were some issues, I guess, that had noise. I don't know why they felt communicating with us through the website was a solution, but that was a follow-up email saying they're going to try to resolve it just directly, which obviously that's something
yeah,
I encourage anyways. It's really outside of our responsibility to handle.
I'm not sure I can get a good full picture of what they're talking about without actually getting in touch with them via a phone call. I know that Glenn has some memory issues, so I used to meet him quite frequently at the YMCA in South Hill. Okay, that's all I have for contact stuff. Anybody have any questions?
Larry, if you talk to those folks, Blankenship, tomorrow, could you call me afterwards and kind of give me a rundown, please?
I sure will.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to a discussion and a vote on our new executive team. In talking with board members, I have gotten agreement from Bob that he would be willing to take over the presidency for a year or two. Angela says she would be happy to remain as vice president. John Goodspeed said that he would be happy to remain as secretary, and Russell Reed is happy to remain as treasurer for 2021. Any discussion?
Thanks for all your hard work, folks.
Okay, all right. Do I have a motion to approve the executive team for 2021?
I'll
I
move.
will move to approve the executive team for 2021.
I'll
All
second.
right, Jen has moved, and Dan has, I was looking at your Danielle. Jen has moved to approve the motion, and Dan has seconded. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Okay.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Congratulations, Bob. I'm now turning the meeting over to you. And by the way, I will have, the moment this meeting is over with, I've already put together the new board member list with Chris's name on it, but we still have to get to Chris Gallagher yet. So Bob, I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. Congratulations.
Okay, so I guess we need to take a vote on adding Chris Gallagher to the board. Do we have a motion on that?
I'll
Yes, a
move.
motion. Oh,
Is there a
I'll
second?
I'll
I'll
second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Welcome aboard.
Hey,
Well, I just
Thank
heard
very
a
much.
rumor that Chris Gallagher dropped 2 big bags of aluminum cans over at Russell's house of payment for his supporting membership.
He did.
they weren't full bottles of IPA?
No. Well, we're happy to have you, Chris.
Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
so it's been moved
I
and
didn't- I didn't-
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, welcome, Chris.
Who was that? Who moved and who seconded?
So who moved,
In that
who made the motion?
I think it was Jen moved and Dan seconded.
Correct.
That was
Yeah.
that was the exec team.
Yeah, it was Jen that made the motion and Dan seconded it.
For the exec team, but for Chris's, I think it was Gabe and somebody else spoke at the same time, and then I don't know who seconded.
Oh, we'll go with Gabe and Dan.
Oh, good enough.
There you go.
I see that Dan changed his name and gender. That's
Okay.
good.
Yeah, I did that for him.
I didn't touch that.
Okay.
I prefer Danielle.
I can change it back if
Okay.
you wish.
It's all right. It's all right.
So next item on the agenda is the Mid-County Community Plan. And who is going to be speaking to that?
Yes, I will.
I will do that. The Mid-County Community Plan with the other plans that were going through the big changes, it's all went into effect on February the 1st. That would have been yesterday. And there is one exception, which we'll get to, I guess, here farther down the agenda.
All right. So next time is Larry's report on Orange Gate Park.
Yeah, of course, you can see that the volunteer hours went up considerably. It's not 39 hours, it's actually 38 hours. There were about 3 of us that I know of that worked on clearing trails in Orange Gate Park after that big windstorm in the middle part of January. A guy by the name of Scott Bird, B-Y-R-D, apparently no relation to the Bird's Mill Wagon Road people. I had a chance to talk with him one day. He's probably spent about 8 or 10 hours together himself with his chainsaw, getting logs, trees that have fallen across trails, clearing those logs out. And my next door neighbor, Steve Johnson, and myself, we spent about 3 or 4 hours out in the woods doing the same thing, plus all the litter pickup. So that's where the 38 hours has come into play as far as that's concerned. Other than that, I have nothing more to report on Orange Gate.
Okay. Let's see. So Pipeline Trail, say there's a gate that's been installed.
Yeah, if you've driven by where Pipeline Road crosses 84th Street on the Orange Gate Park side, that'd be the south side, Tacoma Water has reconfigured that whole gate. The gate is actually moved farther down the road a little bit, maybe 20 feet. And they've installed some ecology blocks on either side.
Who did this? Tacoma
Tacoma Water.
Tacoma Water, not Summit?
No, because Pipeline is a Tacoma Water, City of Tacoma Water pipe.
Larry, you might add that Pipeline Road is the road that serves to carry a large diameter, I don't know how many, 3 or 4 feet in diameter pipe from up near South Hill past there all the way to Tacoma.
Yeah, it comes from McMillan Reservoir. Of course, it comes from the is it the Green River? Yeah. And eventually down across the valley and then up to the McMillan Reservoir. And then there's actually 2 lines that go into the city of Tacoma. And then this is one of them.
I think it comes from the Puyallup River because the Green River is nowhere near that area.
Oh, it doesn't come from.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not come from the Puyallup. It does come from the Green River. Actually, the pipeline goes way, I mean, it's way over by Enumclaw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I think it might even come from near where the Mud Mountain Dam is area.
Yeah, it does. I've been up there once on a field trip. Okay, well, I guess we can move on. Canyon Rim, Dan, what do you have to say?
Well, we filed the appeal on the declaration of non-significance, and that will be combined with the Pierce County Hearing Examiner decision on the subdivision approval. Now, if we went to the subdivision approval hearing without appealing the declaration of non-significance, their attorney would say, sorry, you can't raise environmental issues because you didn't appeal the environmental declaration. So it's not really important that we win or lose on the DNS appeal. I don't expect that we're going to win or lose. It just has to be there. It has to be there for jurisdiction so we can argue about environmental issues, be it noise, site, traffic, density, the atmosphere, aesthetics is an environmental consideration. And our goal is to try to get the density of that, what is now like a piano keyboard, very tight grouping of 16 or 17 houses along a very narrow ridge up on 62nd, if you folks have seen it. Reduced from maybe, what is it, 16 or 17 now? Maybe down 16, maybe down to 8. Or the examiner may go, I don't know what the examiner will do if they even listen to us, but our goal is to get it reduced. Bob, I want to say this. You need to talk to those folks and have them start writing a letter to the hearing examiner.
Yeah, I have been.
Okay. could you call me tomorrow or this week, please? We need to make
Okay.
contact. I need to confirm who the hearing examiner is. I need to make sure we have the correct address.
Mm-hmm.
And all the letters that they write, you need to get a copy of those letters.
Okay.
I want to attach a copy of those letters to my brief.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Number two, I'm going to be preparing a brief during the next couple of weeks. I'll prepare a brief that we'll kind of lay it out. We'll see what happens. We'll go to the hearing. The hearing's in March. I don't know if it's going to be a Zoom meeting or not.
It's going to be remotely, a
Okay.
remote meeting.
So I won't be wearing a suit and tie, and that's good. So anyway, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Is that March 3rd?
March something. I don't have the date in front of me.
March 3rd or 4th,
It's March
but it was the
3rd,
first week.
March 3rd at 9 a.m. And a staff report for the administrative appeal will be available 10 days prior to the scheduled hearings.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. They haven't prepared the staff report yet. What they said prior is that they made a couple of admissions in their initial staff report. They said that this proposal is inconsistent with the rule separator. Okay, well, that's an admission. Then they go on to say that this proposal could be made consistent with the rule separator. So it kind of looks like they're admitting that something's wrong, but they're passing the buck to the hearing examiner. That's my take.
Yeah.
Well, depending upon where they might be getting pressure from within the system, might be easier for them to do it that way rather than taking heat from farther up in the city county building.
Yeah, it could be. Angela, do you know anything about anything?
Oh, she can't say anything about that.
I actually don't know. I could only speculate.
Speculation is always welcome.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll move on from that then to the centers and corridors. Dan.
Centers and corridors. Did you find people get my my petition for review today?
Yes,
Did you all receive it?
No.
haven't looked at it yet.
Mine
I
wouldn't.
looked at it earlier.
Okay, so I sent it out to everybody. Basically, what's going on this whole thing? It's first of all, this has no bearing on rule separator at all. Rule separator is not going to be touched by any of this. Okay, but there are certain areas in the rule next to the rule separator, adjacent to the rule separator, that are being affected that have an influence on our community. One being 121st Street. And I talked to Dee Ferkel from their North Clover Creek group. They want me to include them, so they're included in that petition also. We took this to the Growth Management Hearings Board several years ago, appealed it from there to the Superior Court, almost nicked it at the Superior Court, but the judge went the other way. Court of Appeals, they didn't do anything. I appealed it to the Supreme Court. They refused to take it. So anyway, that was an uphill battle. That was an uphill battle. We were all by ourselves. And the bad part about it is that the North Clover Creek group never got involved in the process until almost the very last hearing before the Pierce County Council. Okay, and when you don't participate in the hearing, and then you come in at the last minute waving a red flag, that goes against you. So we didn't prevail back then. But what has happened is that the county since then has done this Pierce County Comprehensive Plan update for this area, which includes 121st Street. And this gives us a kind of like a second bite of the apple. But rather than going by ourselves, FutureWise, I don't know if you folks are familiar with FutureWise. They're out of Seattle. They're very powerful. They win a lot of cases in land use. They are probably, I mean, they're brilliant as far as land use. They know their stuff. They're appealing this thing. I've been in contact with Tim up there, and I think FutureWise is teaming up with Audubon. They're going after Frederickson, Spanaway, South Hill, and Mid-County, Parkland, Spanaway, the whole thing. They're going after the whole thing. They're concerned about ag land. They're concerned about density, concurrency, lack of roads, lack of utilities, infrastructure, the whole thing. So I talked to Tim, and I've worked with him before. He knows his stuff. he doesn't mind if we piggyback on him. In other words, what I sent you, a lot of it is what they have in their brief. But I've reduced it down to this, what we're concerned about on 121st Street. Their exhibits that were sent off to the GMA, the hearings board, is 10 inches thick. And of course, when I file my brief, I'm required to include the ordinances, which I did. You got copies of them that I sent via email. No, I didn't send those to your email. I left those off. Those are just 4 ordinances, but I did not include the 10 inches of exhibits. I simply said that the voluminous records were attached to the FutureWise brief. We're adopting it here and by reference. So that's okay. You can do that. And the GMA people down there, they don't want to get, you know, another shoebox full of records. They rather just refer to the FutureWise records. And these hearings will be combined into one hearing. And I've already told Tim I'll let him do all the talking. And you know, we'll just kind of, you know, I think they're going to have more influence than just our organization before the state. That's all I have.
Angela, do you have anything that you'd want to add to this?
No, I'm just now looking at the document that Gabe
okay.
forwarded. Gabe forwarded me a copy. Dan, is there a date associated with like the next review, when is this getting submitted, I guess is my first question.
Well, I have on my desk the schedule. If you go to Google Growth Management Hearing Board hearing schedule,
Oh, okay.
they'll have a schedule. It's on one page, and it's the next thing to do is in a couple months, and it goes through about 90 days. There's a schedule.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions, Dan?
Thanks for doing this, Dan. Appreciate it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
This will be a lot easier than last.
Just a side note, the rest of the verbiage there just refers to Pierce County Council action to kind of get themselves out of a jam where the effective date was before the submission of challenges date. So they had to do a quick emergency ordinance, which, as you can see, passed unanimously and was signed by Bruce Danmeyer the next day.
Well, that has nothing to do about our appeal, Larry.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, I called Angela, I think somebody gave me a phone number. I talked to somebody at the county. The appeal deadline is tomorrow, I believe, or Thursday. I filed it yesterday. But they're having an emergency ordinance so somebody cannot grandfather or vest during a certain period. It doesn't concern us.
Yeah, and that effective date of March 1st only focuses on development regulations.
Correct.
Oh, February 22nd.
Any other questions for Dan?
Looks like it's going on February. I just found it on the calendar, February 22nd to the hearing board at 10 a.m.
Excuse me? What?
I'm on the Growth Management Hearings Board website, and I'm looking at their calendar.
Yeah.
And on February 22nd, it says it just says conference. I'm guessing that's a call. And they said the reason is challenge of Pierce County ordinance number blah, 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 FutureWise versus Pierce County.
Yeah. FutureWise submitted theirs last week.
Got it.
And I just submitted mine yesterday. And during that conference, I'm going to let Tim do the talking.
All right, well, Dan, now let's hear you talk about the Puyallup Tribe of Indians letter.
Well, I haven't done anything yet on that. I have been thinking about how to do it. Sometimes I like to, wake up, think about it the next day, except it's been a month of next days. I want it to be simple, simply a item on the website that attracts attention to the issue, and then has attached as attachment or appendage or whatever, some of the letters that we've written and information and some historical references that they can go to. In addition to that, a one-page letter to the tribe, essentially requesting a meeting. It's not like they're going to go out and put a subdivision in the middle of, Faith Dairy tomorrow. We have time to do this. I know everybody's panicking, like it's Blankenship and so forth, but I think during the month of February, we'll get something out. I'll send it to you folks. The problem I'm having, I'll probably throw this in Gabriel's lap. I don't know how to make it on the website. All I can provide is just raw text, and then I guess Gabriel would have to figure out how to place it on the website.
Yeah, I can take a look at it and then try to figure out the right format. On the web, less is more unless you're doing like a PDF download of factual data if you want to do a history type of thing. But just communicating on the website, just a more brief items that you want to discuss and maybe some description beyond that. If you get too wordy, people kind of just tune it out and they won't read it anyways.
I'm going to keep it very simple. And as far as the history goes, it's simply going to be, in order to see a comprehensive history of the Puyallup tribe, go to this link.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I can do stuff like that. So send me the content where it is you want me to send them for a link, and I can have it where they can go to those outside resources from our website so they get directly to the source of the info.
I don't want to interpret the link. I don't want to interpret the Puyallup tribe's website. They can go and see those links themselves and make their own conclusions.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, and that way they're reading it straight from their
Right.
intended message. Okay.
And the letter that we're going to send, writing a letter to the tribe is you got to be very careful, as Don has taught me. You don't want to tell them what they should do. You want to just kind of let them know what would be nice. Remind them that their land use plan. My thing's cutting out.
Only a FaceTime.
Can you still hear me?
They don't get it on here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear
I can
you.
hear you.
Okay, something's going on with my computer, whatever. Anyway, yeah, I'll put out the letter, then you folks can look it over, and it'll be self-explanatory. That's really all I have to say.
Okay. Well, next item, when Dan's
I've got-
done, I'll
I've
have a
got
little bit.
I've got a question
Okay.
before we go on to the next. Of all the letters that we've written making comments to the tribe, how many letters have they presented to us requesting we meet with them?
None, zero.
Okay,
Zero.
does that tell you anything?
Um,
I'm not trying to be a smart ass. I'm just trying to be, reality.
Well,
That
Don, yeah, Don, let me try to put it in perspective here. The land use settlement back in the 80s provided for some kind of a discussion between the non-tribe and tribal members on particular certain projects that meet a certain threshold. What the tribe is proposing on this land, to my understanding, may not meet that threshold, which probably wouldn't require a conference between tribe and non-tribal people. All we have to offer is goodwill.
well, I understand that.
Yeah, that's important. Goodwill is a big thing in this world. All we have to offer is goodwill. The tribe is probably not going to want to put their community members in a community where there's not harmony. In fact, the tribal land use plan says, quote, they're trying to promote harmony for all people. Okay, that's what their land use plan says. And they do provide a rural land use zone within their reservation, as well as commercial and other areas. Now, we had a similar situation on 36th Avenue, which is known as Carlson Road, down near 48th. They wanted to put, I guess, what I understand, 40 houses on 10 acres. Well, it ultimately ended up being 10 houses on 10 acres after members of our community, including, I think back then, Larry, if you'll remind me, what was the gal's name? She lived down there. Marcy. Remember Marcy?
Marcy Naubert.
Outstanding lady. She contacted somebody through the tribe or whatever, and they worked it out. And it's a very harmonious, gated community within within the portion of our property, which is in the reservation.
Right.
Now,
Did that turn out to be a duplex type structures?
I don't know if it did. I haven't been on the property. It looks to me like it's single family.
Okay, yeah, I know it's single family, but I tried to find it on Google Earth and I saw one that showed 5 large duplex or townhouse type structures.
No.
Well, I would like, yeah, okay.
What street is it on, Dan, again? Can you say that again?
Sure what?
I think he says on the north end of 36th Avenue.
36th Avenue, thank you.
Yeah, it's on the north end of 36th Avenue, probably,
Just past 52nd.
I would say 1,000 feet south of 48th. And it's single family, and it's a gated community, and they have metal roofs, and it's well done.
Yeah,
Landscaping in front, and looks okay. Now, what they're gonna do with the Faith Dairy property and the property below where Blankenship lives, you add that up, Larry, how many acres is that? Is that 50 acres?
That was 20 acres, I believe, by the
And then
Blankenship.
Dairy is 20 and 20 is 40, right?
The Faith Dairy one is 30 some acres.
So there's 50 acres total, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what they're going to do with that is probably my main concern. That's all I can say. At this point, that's all I can say.
You can get all the cannabis you want there right now.
I don't smoke pot.
You don't have to smoke it. You can try my inhaler.
If they smoke
It's
beer,
a-
I'd probably stop in, huh?
It might help you
You
deal
know,
with the idea of having a denser housing area there.
Yeah, right.
I think they're going to leave it open for potential another powwow thing.
Well, they have their,
sometime in the year.
right by Faith Dairy, they have their cultural center. They're having their pot dispensary. They don't pay property taxes on it, of course. It's owned by the United States government. They may just want it for an open area to be multi-purpose. Maybe they want another powwow in 5 years. You just never know what they want to do. They're independent, they're sovereign. They're a friendly people. I've known them. I grew up with them when I worked over at Piggly Wiggly on Portland Avenue. We'll have to see. We can't tell them what to do. We can only express our goodwill, and hopefully they can share that goodwill. That's all I can say.
Just picking up on what Don brought up originally, is that the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, to my recollection, have never actually sent us, our community association, a letter with a tribal letterhead on it, reaching out to us for input on anything.
Well, Larry,
No. They won't.
you have to understand something. The settlement between the tribe and the non-tribal members back in the 80s specifically required a consultation process where if there's an issue, you're supposed to consult. Either have our Pierce County Council member contact them, or if we know tribal members in the community, have them contact the tribe. But there's a consultation process that's set up for discussion between tribal and non-tribal members, but this probably does not fall within the scope of that. Larry?
Does that help, Don?
I understand what he's saying.
Yeah, well, one more thing I want to say. We have never, to my understanding, sent a letter to the tribe requesting a meeting.
You probably will never see that either.
No, I mean from us. We have never sent a letter in requesting a meeting.
Oh, requesting consultation. No, we have not.
No, I don't mean consultation. I just mean a sit-down, friendly chat just sitting around talking with the Puyallup tribe. You know, for example,
Okay, maybe I misunderstood because I thought in previous conversations that that is exactly what had happened in the past. That a letter had been sent from our community suggesting that a meeting could or would occur. So if that didn't happen, then I don't have any further comment.
yeah, well, Don, did you get the copy of that letter I sent to you about Faith Dairy?
Yes.
Okay, I don't think, now, if I recall, I don't think we've ever requested formally a meeting with the Puyallup tribe. Now, Larry Volan and I, we have personally met with the daughter of Chief SWCA,
Vicky Gord.
Vicki Gord, who owns the smoke shop, and she's been a member of the Summit Waller Community Association off and on. In fact, Paul Martin, the prior president of the Summit Waller Community Association, he's a neighbor of the Puyallup tribe who just bought $1 million house next to Paul Martin. And they're good buddies. They make wine together. I mean, they associate, you know, they're friends. It's not a big deal. It's just that we need to get to know each other. It's just about getting to know your neighbors. That's all it is.
Hey, any other questions or comments? Well, hearing none, now we can go on to net gross acreage density calculation. And when Dan's done, I have a little bit to add on regarding a discussion with Marty Campbell yesterday.
You know, I can't even see the agenda anymore. What's wrong with the agenda? Is it gone?
No, it's still there. I see it.
Yeah.
My agenda's gone. Would you repeat the question?
Oh, the next agenda item is net to gross acreage density calculation
Okay,
and
gotcha.
appeal status.
Right. Angela was gracious enough to kind of take me off the hook, and she wrote a really neat letter. It was kind of similar to the letter she wrote last time on the scoping document. She sent it in under Larry's signature, and miraculously,
Yeah, that was January 26th.
yeah, and like magic, out of the blue, the council pulled it. Now, if there's any connection between the Larry Volan letter that Angela wrote, I don't know.
There might, just a moment.
While Bob's dealing with that, I would just like to point out that residential density calculation formula was first proposed by the Master Builders Association of Pierce County.
Yep.
And even though it has been removed, it could find its way back in the picture farther down the road.
Sorry about
Probably
stepping,
revised.
Well, we'll just write another letter then.
sorry about stepping out. I've got a spouse on another Zoom meeting for family on the other side of the wall, and she was getting a little bit loud. I couldn't hear. So last night, another organization I'm a part of, we had Marty Campbell as our guest speaker, and during a Q&A time, and he'd spoken about some of the issues that were big, one of them being housing and some of the things that were going on. And so I asked him about this net to gross acreage thing. And one thing that's important is that he said that they checked with, if I understood this right, a state hearing examiner, but there was somebody who would have been in that appeals pipeline who told them that, no, this does not meet the Growth Management Act. And then also, it's not something that the council, as it's currently composed, would support, because rather than putting density of housing where there are services, where there is transit, this would have allowed density of housing out into the far reaches of the county where it's not appropriate. And so there wouldn't have even been support within the council to approve this. It's, you know, like it's been said, it's something that can be brought up again, but unless there was a significant change in the council, I don't see it passing.
Just to pick up on that, I did notice that the ordinance R 2021-2 passed 4-3, and it was 4 Democrat Pierce County Council members on the winning side, and the Republican Pierce County Council members of 3 of them on the losing side. So it was, one side supports removing it, and the other side does not. So we'll have to wait and see whether Bruce Danmeyer actually signs this ordinance to remove that application.
Or vetoes it.
Or vetoes it, yeah.
Well, if it's changed to the county policies, wouldn't the council have to approve it?
I don't know.
Well, on a veto, they can come back around, circle around, and I think they have to do a 60%. Am I wrong? Is it 60%? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, if he vetoes it, it has to be at least 5 votes in favor to override the veto.
They don't have that.
Well, I'll check some more on this with Marty, but as my understanding is, the net to gross is a dead issue.
For now, yes.
Yeah, for now.
I wouldn't count the Master Builders Association of Pierce County out. Dan, you and I know that when we're talking about that cycle where you have amendments to the Pierce County Comprehensive Land Use Plan, right at the last minute, the 11th hour, when the Pierce County Council is dealing with, that's when you see these last minute attempts to resurrect things that were maybe poo-pooed earlier in the process. And I would expect the master builders to come in at the 11th hour with some sort of a proposal covering this urban growth acreage density calculation formula. That's just my opinion.
Well, they might. The council chair, Derek, dang it,
Young.
Young, thank you. I always want to say the U.S. Congressman. Derek Young wasn't in favor of going forward with centers and corridors because it does not have the infrastructure put in place first to even support it. He's very much for more the density closer into where the services already are. So they can bring it back. We should watch it. We can watch it. But again, with the current makeup of the council, I don't really see it happening.
Right.
Well, the state comprehensive land use plan wants urban areas to do more infilling where the services are already there.
Right. And the issue with the net to gross is that they were considering using this throughout the county, out into East County. All right. Let's see here. Don, you want to talk about compression braking on Canyon? I've been hearing an awful lot of it lately.
You mean the noise?
Among other noises, yes, I've been hearing a lot of compression braking.
Well, as many phone calls as I've had, I don't have any information. And if you're going to speak to Mark tomorrow, you might ask him if the last word I got, and I believe Larry got the same word, is that it was going before the council as a new ordinance. Now, when you go online and start researching it, I find myself going in circles, so I don't know what the current ordinance really states. So maybe you can get that clarified from Mark and a status report garnered.
Okay, I can work on that.
My latest conversation with Mark Williams on that topic was that they were in the process of constructing an ordinance that would be very specific to Canyon Road from SR 512 north to 72nd Street East. Bob, the compression noise that you're hearing are vehicles probably going down 72nd toward Woodland.
I'm hearing people coming up to the stoplight.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're probably from two directions, probably from Canyon Road coming up from Pioneer Way and of course, 72nd, Woodland to 72nd. You know, those are two areas with pretty steep grades. And are you suggesting that we promote an effort to get no compression brakes on between on 72nd Street from Canyon to Woodland and on Canyon Road
Oh,
from?
no,
No?
I'm fine with it going Canyon down to 72nd.
Oh, you mean Canyon Road to SR 512?
Yeah, well, from 512 to 72nd, that stretch of canyon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I sent a note to Angela to see if she could give me an interpretation, but there was something written in a legal document that stated blankly the compression brakes were illegal to use in Pierce County on county roads. And I don't know if that's been repealed. There was it was confusing reading it, but it said compression brake usage on Pierce County roads is illegal, period.
Yeah, and that dates way back to the 1980s, I believe, Don.
Well, that's fine. Is it still in effect, or has it been amended, repealed? You talk to any of these people and you say, well, can you give me a list of the, I don't know, there's maybe 11 roads that are designated as compression-free roads, but you got to go find what ordinance it was added in at what date to know what those roads are.
I think if my memory serves me correctly, I think that ordinance number from back, way back when, I think both you and I have forwarded that to Mark Williams, and I think he may have mentioned to me that he had passed that along to county road people to work on an ordinance that would cover SR Canyon Road from SR 512 to 72nd in particular, but I think they're aware of that particular ordinance.
Okay, we'll see what kind of report comes back.
Okay.
I've been trying, just a second, Bob. I've been trying to get a hold of Mark Williams to get a little more clarification on where in the process that creation of that ordinance is, as well as the street light request that we had in from 2020. That's usually lumped together with other requests from the other 6 Pierce County districts, and then is put forth as an ordinance in one package. I've been trying to inquire about where in the process that is as well, but I'll when I get a hold of him, I will talk with him about both those topics.
All right. Okay, so moving on to new business. Neighborhood Watch meeting is canceled for this Friday. Vaccines at Saltwater Community Center. So Larry, what can you tell us about that? Did you get yours yet?
No, I haven't. They had registrations this morning actually for 2 more events, and
9 o'clock.
yeah, and both my wife and I was on our laptop, she was on her desktop, and the link did not come up. So I went to my smartphone, and the link was there on my smartphone. So you could only get it on a smartphone. You couldn't get it on a desktop or a laptop computer, and so we missed out again. But you know, eventually we'll get it. But in regards to that, line item on the agenda, I did send a email to the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department from the Summit Waller Community Association suggesting that they get the Moderna vaccine out to areas in the Summit Waller area, like Albertson, Safeway, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Summit View Clinic. And I did get a response back that they were looking for, they were considering obviously doing that, but they also wanted to know if the Mid-County Community Center would be a good place for a pop-up vaccination in our community. And so I directed them to Bunny at the community center. So that's kind of where we're at. Just trying to get vaccine locations for people in our area so we don't have to go very far to get vaccinated.
That'd actually be
So
a pretty good place for it. Okay, other items. Proposed Puyallup Indian Smoke Shop on Waller. So I read the email earlier today and I'm a little confused. So Jen, do you want to speak to that?
Not confusing.
I can fill in on that. I did quite a bit of research today. I never got a chance to talk with Heather. That'd be Heather
Jones,
Heather Jones.
yes.
You know, at first I was wondering, where is this actually going to possibly become a reality? And it's if you imagine yourself at the intersection of 48th Street and Waller Road near Jen's house, and you're looking to the west up, and you can take that road up to Dixon's. Just off to the left is a 3-acre parcel where Dixon has, that's Dixon property. Just west of it, up on the ridge, on the canyon rim, is where Gary and Cheryl Smith live, and they have about a little over half an acre there. And their entryway to their property is off 48th.
Mm-hmm.
And then directly south of them is where Robert and Heather Jones lives on about half an acre. And between their place and Waller Road is the property in question. Now, if you go to the county assessor's website, and it doesn't have an address for that because it's a little over an acre, and it's in tribal trust land, and it's directly west, on the west side of Waller Road, south of the Dixon property. It's south of 48th Street and Waller Road, and the Joneses live smack dab in back of that property on the canyon, on Swan Creek Canyon rim. And their access to their property apparently is off of Waller Road, because their address is 4904 Waller Road. And so looking at all the properties on the other side of the street, on the east side of the street, it looks to me like the address would be like 4916 Waller Road East. So,
Well, Larry, the easiest way to explain it, go to 48th and Waller Road, head south on Waller Road about 1,000 feet, and where there's the curve in Waller Road before it straightens out, around 49th and Waller Road, just to the west is a wooded area. That's the property.
and Pierce County Public Works is the next property south of it.
No, that's Pierce County Parks.
Yeah, Pierce County Parks.
So is this
there-
area we're
you're-
talking about right here then, right?
Yeah, you've got it.
You're right,
Yeah.
Gabe.
I cannot see a map.
Might just have to click on the Zoom meeting again.
Yep. Change your view, Dan.
Boy, you look across Waller Road to the east. I mean, is that more in trust or is that, just non-tribal folks? Because,
Well, one of them is the property owner, right across.
okay, because I see a lot of property on that other side that if it was non-tribal people, there'd be a definite report to
Okay,
to the county.
The property is listed as USA Indian Trust, care of Misty Stafford. Now, Misty Stafford is married to Troy Lovejoy. And so it's Troy and Misty Lovejoy live farther south down Waller Road next to the Agnews on the east side of the street. They're at 5115 Waller Road. And the Agnews live at 5101, just south of them. And they share a driveway. The Agnews and the Lovejoys share a driveway.
Yes.
They're friendly, but not real friends. But it appears that Misty Stafford must have married Troy Lovejoy, and it must be Misty that must be the tribal member, because the Lovejoy's property is not in tribal trust on the east side of Waller Road, a little farther south of the property in question.
Well, Larry, if I could interject this, the property in question is on the curve. I don't think it's an appropriate location where anybody with any business sense would want to try to install a smoke shop. Logistically, getting in, getting out, I don't think it'd be a very good place for a smoke shop. You have to understand that tribal members, they like to buy up property out here just to have it. The lady that lives directly across the street from where I live she has 4 acres. It's been sitting there for years. I've talked to her. She just wants to have it for her kids someday. She's a tribal member and she hasn't developed it. If they do someday, it'll probably be a house. That'd be a heck of a lot better place for a smoke shop than would be the corner down on Waller Road. It's a good idea not to panic when individual tribal members buy up property out here. They're really no different than non-tribal members. They just want to live in a nice community, have a nice house. Smoking Willie up there at the corner of 72nd Waller Road, he just bought the house next to Paul Martin. I think he paid close to $1 million for the property. It's a nice house. He and Paul get along. They do things together. The tribal members are just like everybody else. Now, when you're dealing with the Puyallup tribe government that purchased Faith Dairy and the lower 20 acres, that's a whole different story. There you've got more capital money, different decisions coming into effect. But when an individual person buys a piece of property, I don't think you can read into it every time, uh-oh, here comes a smoke shop. That's just my opinion.
Well, I agree with everything you said there, Dan. What makes this a little confusing is that they've gotten permission from the tribe to clear the land, to harvest the trees. And the neighbors, the Joneses, are getting mixed messages from Troy Lovejoy and his brother. Troy seems to indicate that he doesn't know what he's going to do with the land yet. However, his brother says that it's being cleared for a future smoke shop. So I guess the only thing we can do is just to monitor the situation and see what is actually going to occur there.
Yeah, that is true.
And either way, it's kind of outside of what we can do anyways. It's tribal trust land, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is there's only so many smoke shops you could put on a road. I mean, you got one at 72nd and Waller. You got one up over there at Canyon and 72nd Street. You got one down at River Road and Pioneer. You know, you put one or two in the middle of all that, and you're going to start having a decrease in revenue flow. So
That's what I said today to Larry.
Saturate the
argue
market.
You could completely fill every property with a smoke shop. Doesn't mean they're going to be viable business-wise, but you could technically still do it.
well, you could-
If a smoke shop goes in there, I think that would be one smoke shop too far. I think the picket signs would come out. I think it would just send people over the edge.
Yeah.
it's a bad corner. I would not want to stop there to buy an ice cream cone.
Agreed.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
District 5, Pierce County Conservation Futures and Open Space Citizens Advisory Board has a, are we discussing an open seat there or what's?
No, I put that in there today because the Pierce County Council, which I go to their the Pierce County Council meeting website
Mhm.
a couple times a week to see what is on the agenda. I would encourage the rest of you to do the same. And today they appointed Brett Larrabee onto the Pierce County Conservation's Future and Open Space Citizens Advisory Board for District 5, which is our district. If you recall, a few months ago, I had gotten an email from the Pierce County Parks Department and also from Marty Campbell's office advertising for this open position from District 5. So today they actually appointed two people, one from District 5, and I think they may have an open area. I'm not sure. There was another name mentioned on a different ordinance, but it didn't mention particular districts. But I do know that two people were added to the Conservation Futures Citizens Advisory Board this afternoon.
Okay. Assuming this is the right guy, when I do a quick search for Brett Larrabee Tacoma, the one that comes up is a professional engineer with a geotechnical engineering business in Tacoma.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else anybody has for the good of the order?
Couple comments. Bob, could we talk later this week
Yes,
about the letters?
yes.
That is really important. So give me a call or I'll call you. Let's just talk on the phone about that. And then Larry, if you could call me regarding the Blankenship's concerns, we can talk about that too.
Okay.
And the only other thing I wanted to mention, Angela and I will be working on a membership drive on our respective social media platforms. I'd like to try to get the payment option for online payment prior to that. And also the verbiage of application was brought up about maybe being inappropriate for the type of form we're doing. Is there alternative words we could come up with that you guys would like to see?
I don't have any suggestions other than I think the word application feels like, oh, I have to apply and be approved to be a member. And that's not really the case. Anyone can send us their dues, they're a member. So might have to think about it a little bit more to
Just form
come up with
instead of
something.
application.
Yeah,
form.
just
There you
maybe
go.
it's just a form. It's just you fill out the form just so
How
we
about
can have your name and your address and your phone number and your email and
How
your
about
money.
supporting membership donation. Would the word donation work better?
A donation's an option.
Donation isn't more of an option. The membership renewal dues
There you go.
is more of a dues.
Mhm.
It's
New
less
slash
it's-
renewing membership form.
I think just membership form is fine. Because I've had that question. I've had at least a couple people question that in the passive, oh, I have to be approved to be a member. It's like, no, just fill out the form so we know who you are. Send us your money and voila, you're a member.
How about supporting membership form?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
And then I'll have to work with Russell about finding a way of tying the online payment to the bank account so they can submit directly. And he'd
All right.
obviously get a notification so we can make sure that the process is front to back
Yeah.
complete.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that, Gabe.
Yeah. Well, that's it for me.
Okay.
I wanted to
Anybody
ask
else?
John. Yes, I wanted to ask John a question. Is there any update on the Adopter Road for spring?
No, nobody's having any conversation about that at all. I don't foresee anything happening between now and summer.
The roads are
Did you
getting,
want to phone call in to ask and find out what phase we need to be in before we can clean up
Well,
roads?
yeah, I
They're
can.
getting really bad out there.
Yeah,
could I throw something out real quick? Bob?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Jen is correct. The roads are getting to look really bad. Pioneer Way looks like it's never looked. Waller Road's getting to look pretty bad. And it's raining out. What would be wrong if we wrote a letter getting the county to bring out their crews, not the crews, but the fine people that are in jail?
Oh,
That'd be district.
the public service folks?
Yes.
There's District Court 1 people.
Yeah, they've been out here before. And they do a pretty good job, and they probably want to get out of the incarceration and get some good time points. Is that something we need to discuss maybe next time?
It could be.
There's also another option. You can have small groups socially distanced and you're outside anyway. If you have your own reflector vests and if you want to wear a hard hat, if you have your own hard hat, you can pick up garbage along the road anytime you want. You just put the bags in a central location and just call 253-798 4000 and the county will come
6,000.
by and pick it up.
It's 6,000.
Or I'm sorry, 6,000. Yeah, 6,000.
The Pierce County website on the Adopt a Road program specifically says, as of March 16th, 2020, all litter pickups have been temporarily suspended. We will update this webpage once pickups can resume. So it doesn't look like that's changed. And because county employees are not back at the office for the most part, I wouldn't see this picking up until they're actually back in the office, which probably isn't going to be, well, right now they're telling us that we're home through March, but I got a feeling it's going to be through summer.
So, question. They said that they're giving the homeless purple plastic bags to collect their own garbage in. Who's going to pick those up?
That's a good point.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that program.
It's brand new. They said they were going to be starting it, and
Was that
I don't know
county
when
or
they're
city?
starting it.
County or city?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look that up.
Okay, could I ask a favor of you folks? If you could write down this number, please.
Okay.
311, not 911.
Oh, I called
yeah.
them last week.
Well, let me finish. It takes more than one phone call. 311. That will put you in contact with the city of Tacoma. If you could each call them as a citizen, not as a board member, but as a citizen, saying that Pioneer Way between River Road and the city limits along Pioneer Way is clogged with garbage and needs to be cleaned up. Now, I've called before and they've cleaned it up. Also 64th Street from this up to the city limits by Swan Creek.
Yeah. Yeah.
64th Street and Pioneer Way. If you folks could call 311, all of you, over the next couple of days, it's a way to get a hold of the city of Tacoma. In fact, when we wrote a letter to the city of Tacoma, Mr. Kirk Kingsolver, who's the director, who used to be on our board, by the way, before he moved, he says, hey, I like your letters, folks, but hey, call 311. They'll get it cleaned up faster than anybody. And Jen, you've called and I've called. If we could all just call 311, get Pioneer Way cleaned up and get,
And the purple bag pilot program is just for the city of Tacoma.
well, that, okay, that shows that they have crews to go out and clean up stuff. Now, maybe the county doesn't, but the city has crews and they're cleaning up stuff all the time. So let's call 311 and get them to work. Right, Jen?
Yeah, and I actually saw some people cleaning up litter in an interchange wave off of 38th and McKinley. So I thought, okay, there's some people out there picking up trash. It's just not very many. So
that 311 number, that works, that sends you to Tacoma, or does it send you to?
City of Tacoma.
only for Tacoma.
City of Tacoma, 311, City of Tacoma, they have, that's a service, and from
Okay,
there.
well, Dan, the reason I ask is I have a Puyallup address. And so I'm just wondering if it goes to a dispatch that would send me somewhere,
No.
or if it's something that it would send me to a Puyallup agency versus a Tacoma agency.
311 will take you directly to the City of Tacoma. I'm not even sure you have to give them your address or phone number or name. You're just,
Okay,
you're just a person who drives on city streets and you pay Washington gas tax. That's all.
okay. And last time, anything else for the good of the order? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
I move.
moved.
It's been moved
I'll
and
second.
seconded. We adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thanks for everybody's work. Gabe, you do a good job. Bob, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you.
Larry, thanks for being president for so many years.
Let's give it a hand,
You're
huh?
welcome.
I like to see Larry blush.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for letting him retire.
I'll still be working on stuff. No, that's
He's
for
only
sure.
semi-retired, Jen.
What?
He's semi-retired.
You'll have
It's like when you're out running, you
More
can't
hours
just
to
stop
orientate.
at once. You have to slow down and cool off a little bit before you actually stop.
That's true.
You haven't run
Sudden
with
stops
me, have
hurt.
you, Bob?
Oh, and next time we meet, you'll actually be able to understand me a little bit better because, yay, all the crap on my teeth comes off tomorrow morning. I will no longer be wearing braces.
Oh,
Nice. That's a good
good
feeling.
old fashioned teeth cleaning. All right.
You did a good job, Bob. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, good night, all.
See you, folks. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Have fun with Dr. Tartar tomorrow, Bob.
Yeah.